just remember catching that first wave and thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm gliding on top of water.
It's this great humbling connection, I feel, and it's just that elusive search for the perfect ride.
You find a rhythm with the ocean in terms of just knowing the winds, the tide.
I think there's always kind of this stewardship of the ocean that comes along with surfing.
Surfing has definitely made me more environmentally conscious.
Through the exposure it gives me, to the ocean and beachside on a daily basis if I'm lucky.
So to find out that this place that brings you so much joy is horribly polluted, I needed to find out more, and that's how I got involved. I'm Nancy Downs. I work in the state of Massachusetts doing grassroots organizing. The ocean provides the air that we breathe. It provides seafood to millions of people around the globe. It provides unbelievable joy to people when they take their 1 week of vacation off. And if people derive value from that, then it should be our responsibility to protect it, right? And the impacts are coming from us and our use of it and our joy of it. So it's like a responsibility to protect this so that we can enjoy it and that future generations can enjoy it as well.
Spending time on the beach on a regular basis, you see these changes happening all around you all the time, whether it's erosion of the beach or more trash washing up on the beach. The more time you spend in the water, the more you start to pick up on these small changes, and they're all effects based on what humans are doing around the ocean, really.
I think if you are a surfer, you spend any time in the ocean, you realize that there is varying quality of water and you're immersed in the environment, so you have a much more intimate connection to it. My name is Chris Borgatti, and I've been a volunteer with Surfrider for probably 2 decades now.
Our chapter of Surfrider Foundation is not all surfers, but a lot of ocean recreators of all different types, whether they're surfers or paddleboarders, kayakers, divers, or even folks who just like to come to the beach and walk or sit. I think the common thread is it becomes worth protecting because it's so important to you.
Surfers, recreational, ocean enthusiasts have a really important role to play, because you can come to a place like we are at today and from all appearances it might look pristine and beautiful, and oftentimes you kind of have to go below the surface, and I think when you do that you start to see a system that's kind of in trouble.
When you catch that ride, there just isn't a feeling like it. It's magical, and I think about it all the time, especially here in New England. You really have to earn your waves. It's not every day that we have great waves. It's also not every day that it's warm. As a matter of fact, most of our swell comes in the winter time, so you really gotta want it.
Surfing season in New England is typically from the end of summer until the spring. So everyone's off-beach season is surf season here. A lot of people, I think that's why they don't even know that people surf in New England, is because they don't spend time at the beach in the off-season.
I'm Annalise Brosh, and I am one of the co-owners of Cape Ann Sup and Surf.
It's a main goal of the company to be environmentally friendly, and it's part of everything we do, mainly because it's where we are. Our bread and butter is sharing the natural beauty that we have around us, and getting to surf is enjoying the water, and it's a very connected feeling with the water. So when you're in it that much and you not only rely on it financially, but the sport that you love also relies on clean waterways, it's just kind of like a natural fit that if we're gonna make a living off this great sport, we need to help bring to the forefront that, hey, we gotta keep it clean at the same time.
When we're doing beach cleanups, one thing that we do in particular is collect data on what we're finding at the beach. So when folks are going out and picking up trash, we're marking down what we're finding, whether it's pieces of plastic or fishing gear or cigarette butts or cans and bottles. It's all recorded and submitted to our national database.
Plastic bottle cap.
Okay.
One.
You know, what we're finding the majority of is kind of dependent on where we are and what kind of beach we're at. I would say most of the time it's cigarette butts, but we do find a lot of things like straws, and you can tell when they're coming from Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's by the colors they are. And it leads us to a great point of like something that our chapter and Surfrider in general is working on is extended producer responsibility. You know, right now there's a lot of responsibility on individuals to be recycling and making sustainable choices, but at what point do we hold corporations accountable for the things that they're producing?
So it's basically down to every last little detail. Some of the puzzles we have, it's actually an artist couple. They're based out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and they plant trees for every puzzle. I think a lot of people think about sustainability as one-dimensional. So trash, that's a big one in people's brains. But what they also don't realize is, okay, how was it manufactured? Where was it manufactured? How do you get it here? How long does it last?
The great thing about these boards here is not only are they made stateside, so there's a much lower, eco footprint because it doesn't have to come from overseas, but this foam that they've developed is fully recyclable. So foam boards are a great way for people to learn. It's the #1 way people get into surfing, but unfortunately a lot of those boards very quickly end up in a landfill because we outgrow it, our skill levels, and it's just basically a big piece of foam trash. So pretty awesome that these guys were able to come up with this.
So it's tricky, and it's always a balance for people, but you have to think beyond just the immediate trash that you see and the bigger picture of who you're supporting and why you're supporting them.
Plastic is something that you just constantly encounter in the ocean, after every storm. And for most people, at least here in North America, the only wild food that they consume comes from the ocean and in the form of fish.
There is now more plastic particles in the ocean than plankton. That should be a shocking statement to anybody that hears that.
Those compounds are entering the food chain. These chemical compounds that are only found in plastic are being found in human tissue, animal tissue, and that's a pretty significant thing. For my children, I want them to have the same opportunities to have their lives shaped by the sea, whether it be catching a wave or catching a fish. That stuff is very important to me. This is we don't want to mess this up.
One of the beautiful things about surfing is the feeling you leave the water with. You always feel better. That's part of the reason I always tell people, just get in.
Getting people out into the natural beauty to see the gorgeous coastlines of New England, all the natural resources that we have along Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine is stunning.
I feel like it is a hopeful situation. It's just going to take more people kind of coming together, pooling resources, pooling voices, and taking action.
Each and every one of us is good at something. Take people's passion and turn that into action.
At the end of the road, what will the ocean have given me? It's not one thing, it's nearly everything.